Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NBC News special correspondent, Tom Brokaw.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. They're going to have me keep coming back until I get it right. We're going to be talking now, before we get to the big moment of announcing the winners of our Innovation Challenge, with three men who really are in all the intersections when it comes not just to innovation but technology. And let me introduce them to you now. John King, who is the Commissioner of Education for the state of New York. Pat Yongpradit, who teaches computer science at Springbrook High School in Silver Spring, Maryland. And Mike White, who is the Chief Technology Officer at the University of Phoenix, one of our sponsors here. Pat, you and I were talking backstage. You had me record a message to your students.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like to say to them is that technology, and for that matter innovation, are really just tools. It really depends on the human factor.
Yeah.
My shorthand for that is you can wire the world, but if you short-circuit your soul, it won't do you much good.
Yeah.
Do we expect too much of technology and pay too little attention to the human input of technology when it comes to education?
My students, we use technology, but we also create technology. And we don't create technology just because it's fun and exciting. We create technology that actually helps the world. And so that's where the intersection between the human factor and technology comes into play. Students have to realize that technology is not here just for our entertainment. It's here so that we can help humanity. And so my students, when they make games for social causes. They address social issues like maternal health or child mortality.
Mr. Commissioner, what's the future of technology in the education in the state of New York? I mean, 10 years out, how much more technology will there be on a daily basis in terms of use and application in the classroom?
I think significantly more. I think how time is organized in schools will change. I think how teachers' school day will change. You'll see teachers being able to work with small groups of students while other students are doing projects online, and then switch and do whole class instruction. Periods where students are all working independently online and teachers are supporting them. But I think we're sort of at a crossroads moment where we need to figure out, are we going to leverage technology to change instruction, or are we just using technology as just another device in the classroom? So sometimes I visit schools and I see students creating engineering designs on computers and they're actually learning differently because of the computer. Other times I visit classrooms and I see students essentially doing worksheets on the screen, which is no different from how instruction happens too often now. So this is an important moment of transition, I think.
Well, let me give you a specific scenario and see if it has any chance of coming true someday. 10 years from now, people who are now homeschooling their children on their own, will they be able to tap in to an online education system sponsored by the state of New York, in which you'll have virtual classrooms for those who choose not to send their child to a physical school for a variety of reasons?
I think that's possible, but there's also a risk there, right? There's a risk that we create a system where students don't have the opportunity to engage with their peers, to do things like sports or theater productions. And so I think there's a balance that we'll want to strike, providing great opportunities to learn online, but also great opportunities for blended instruction where teachers are working with the students and the computers, and then opportunities for students to do traditional school activities in a school community context.
That's why University of Phoenix obviously has a huge investment in educating people online. You do it all over the world. What about the social aspect of it?
Yeah, so social is very important. Look, we're all social, and so learning is social. Now, when you look at what was traditionally called distance learning, people would think, oh, I'm in the back of a room and typing on a computer and I'm isolated. What we've done is brought social into the classroom. So when you are the only person in your small class that's online at 3 in the morning, how can you reach out to say maybe 10,000 other people that are taking Econ 101 and get some help? Additionally, how can you reach out to faculty members that might be online as well globally? So social manifests itself not just in the classroom, but also in other areas. And really in the classroom right now is where we need to bring social as it relates to online learning.
And when it comes to the use of cyber or IT technology, is it more inclined to be useful in teaching the sciences than it is the humanities?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Well, technology can be used for, we're talking about innovation. And it takes an innovative teacher to use technology in whatever circumstance they're in, whether it be history. And for example, you could study Mount Rushmore, and as a history teacher, you could give students an assignment where they're given a historical area, and they assign four students, to pick historical figures, and they take a picture of them, and they make a video that's commemorating that area, similar to a Mount Rushmore commemoration. So, technology can be used. I just kind of came up with that. So technology can be used in whatever situation.
Well, it turns out I'm the voice of Mount Rushmore. If you go there and ask for the recording, I'm the one who takes you through it. So you're very intuitive.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? You're a computer scientist. You're interested in technology. You're interested in using it as a learning tool. Are you surprised almost daily by what you learn from the students from the ground up?
It's amazing. I love teaching computer science because I can just step back and be a facilitator. There's so much out there on the internet for students to find and teach themselves. I don't know if the Khan Academy has anything on computer science. It probably does. But students go to forums, they search for their own solutions. I can just step back and enjoy the learning process unfolding right in front of me.
John, our friend David Saltzman, who is the executive director of Robin Hood, the great philanthropic organization here in New York City that is determined to wipe out poverty, sent me the latest poverty statistics, and they really are alarming. It's been growing during this downturn. We had enough before. There's more now. Poverty is a big issue when it comes to education in this country. Does it become an even more critical issue when you're talking about technology, because so many children are going to go home to a house that's not wired, or they may have a video game, but they don't have a computer that is on broadband of some kind?
Yeah, I think we have work to do, but fortunately the technology is moving very quickly, right? And so you can envision a future where students are able to do lots of things on a phone, lots of things on a device like an iPad. We certainly have schools around the state that are experimenting with giving classes iPads. I think we'll see more of those highly mobile technology resources. You don't necessarily need a computer lab for students to do their work.
Textbooks going to be obsolete in 5 years? Printed textbooks.
I think everything's going to be device enabled. I think people will still want books, but it's going to be where the consumption point is yourself. You said a video game; those are a device. You'll be able to take any kind of content you want from that. And that's what I'm really hoping is we open the content up so it's device agnostic.
I was just in Colorado over the weekend at a big conference, and we were talking about the future of technology, more broadly speaking. And Jeff Bezos of Amazon was asked about 10 years out. He said the world is going to be more wireless than you can possibly imagine. So portability is going to be an important component, I would think, of education as well, right? You can literally be a truant and still be getting something.
Yeah, we won't tell the class dojo guys that, but it's one of those things where it's contextual learning. Going back to the Mount Rushmore example, I could take my smartphone there and in context learn what's going on.
What about that? What about the portability of it? That we'll not, if there's a good chance, we'll have in effect a diffused student body. That they'll be linked up only by the devices that they're carrying around, maybe just in their pocket.
Mobile technology is amazing. That's how, people are in the audience are tweeting away and communicating right now. And, why not students? So I asked my class, how many of you guys have smartphones? Because I wanted to do a project involving Twitter. And so maybe only about 3 or 4 students raised their hands. And I said, well, how many of you guys are going to get a smartphone once your contract is up? And almost everyone raised their hand. So I think we're about a couple years away from the point at which all students are going to basically have some kind of mobile device that can bring up a website. But when that happens, I know that innovative educators will use that to its full extent.
But globally, Tom, we're a couple years behind. So from being a wireless world, the United States is behind. And if you look out at China and India, they're not going to raise buildings to, or build buildings rather, to have, traditional schools as we did in the Horace Mann approach. They're going to give a device, and people are going to learn from that device, and they're already there. So there's some catch-up that we need to do on that.
Now let me just review with you something that happened now almost 2 years ago. President Obama wanted to address the nation's school children. Some school districts wouldn't let him in effect. They said, we'll record it, we'll review it, and then we'll determine whether it's appropriate. We'll have classes, we'll have parents call in. I asked one of the superintendents who made that decision, do your students come to school with laptops? And he said, oh, sure. And I said, are they online? He said, sure. And I said, do you know where they're going? Online? And there was this long pause, and he said, no. So there is also a discipline that is required in terms of what is being accessed during the school years. And I've even heard stories of some student cheating because they know how to get access to a Google search or to something that's going on. There's a testing going on. So do you have to build in vigilance to all of this?
As a former middle school principal, I'm a strong believer in vigilance, and students need to be taught how to interact with the technology. They have to be taught how to distinguish between websites that are mere propaganda and websites that have good information. They have to be taught what should you be using during the school day and what's a social activity you should be doing at home, and teachers have to play an active role in that. And schools have to think about where the devices are, how they're used, how they create an environment where students learn those skills.
Pat, you talked at the very outset about the use of this technology for the greater good, and not just as an exercise in entertainment.
Yeah.
Is part of that greater good that you're able to connect with students in other places and that you're able to create a network, as it were?
I mean, there's so many projects out there right now, like the Flat Classroom Project, which bring schools from all around the globe together, and they work on similar lessons, and they solve real problems together. I think educators all over the nation are using different websites, different web apps to connect students to students in different schools across the nation and even outside this country. And it can only lead to good things, if at all. I mean, if it even doesn't really address what's on the state standardized exam, at the least it will help kids be more selfless and have more of a global perspective on things.
When I was in junior high, in the Stone Age, one of the real no-nos was note passing. Cute girl over there in the third row, slip her a note. Tell your buddies when you want to meet to play baseball. No. Tell me about what goes on in a classroom all day long now with texting and Twitter.
Oh my goodness. So my students are watching this right now, actually, and so I actually
Stop sending those notes.
I actually hold the record for the number of cell phones taken in a day, because we take their cell phones if they're texting in class. Now, they're allowed to text during lunch, but they're not allowed to text during class. And that's a good thing, but I just thought about something while I was at this conference. I thought, what if the next video I'm showing them, whatever the topic of the video might be, I'm going to have them get on Twitter, and I'm going to have them create a hashtag together and tweet about the video while they're watching. So they all want to talk during the video anyway. Why not have them talk? Why not leverage technology and have them talk about the video and show the feed while they're watching the video? And so now they're talking, they're socializing, but they're using it in a positive way.
Mr. Commissioner, does it also, this technology, democratize education as a political culture? Can teachers get to you more easily now?
They do. I actually am just launching a Twitter account myself to be able to communicate more easily with the education community. People are able to email me complaints sometimes positive suggestions. So I do think there's a democratizing effect. And that's true for school boards as well. I think school boards know that whatever decision they're going to have, there's going to be lots of emails about it, there's going to be blog postings about it. And so I think it's helping our entire democracy become much more accessible to everyone.
John, you're obviously the big player when it comes to higher education, the University of Phoenix, in online education. As you look down the road from a competitive point of view, 10 years out, how much more competition are you going to have based on your own model, do you think?
I think there's going to be a lot more people leveraging technology similar to what we've done. We've continued to make investments. We just spent $90 million on a math product to help our adult learners get through math. It's more on adaptivity and things like that. We love the challenges that are happening today and seeing these young innovators and how can we help get those people funded with the right products to make that happen. I think it's pretty wide open right now from technology, and I actually love the competition. I think it's great because it helps Americans learn, and that's really what we're trying to make happen here.
About the Innovation Challenge, it's a great example of 21st century learning. Students, I was just talking to Jennifer. She was a computer science student at Columbia University. But it's a great example of students solving real world problems, using technology for the good of humanity. So this Innovation Challenge thing, it's innovative education at its best. And so what we need to do is take that model and really apply it to high schools and middle schools, having students use technology, not just use entertainment technology, but create technology, become creators of technology, and help them see that, even they at their young age, they can do something with technology to help the world.
All right, I want to thank the three of you for, in effect, setting the stage here for the awards that we're about to make to the young innovators who came into New York City, worked very hard for the past 5 days on getting their act together, made the presentations earlier today. So we're going to ask you, politely, to say that you're excused. We're going to fill those chairs with the judges, and in a moment we're going to find out who won and who lost, and how the judges, what criteria they use to make their decisions. Thanks very much, guys, for being with us. Thank you. All right, Mr. Gutierrez from Citibank, Ted Mitchell from New Vision Schools. We have two teachers as well anchoring the end of the chair here. I want to ask you to begin, Mr. Gutierrez, and tell us what's the payoff here?
Well, we have...
I don't want you to make the announcement about who won.
No, of course. No. This is just the awards for the first, second, and third place. Third place takes a $10,000 prize.
No. No? No, I didn't want you to make the announcement.
No, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to make the announcement. You said the award.
How much is it worth? Right, okay.
Yeah, that's all.
I just heard in my ear that you were about to make the announcement. No.
And the winner is... second place is a $15,000 award. And the winner, first place, would be $75,000.
Wow. Good for Citibank. Let me ask the two teachers, tough call?
I just want to make clear, I'm not a teacher. I work for the American Federation of
I thought you were a teacher.
That's
and
okay.
that you
I
just
would be honored
escaped
to be
the
one.
classroom by getting to the AFT administrative piece of it, the innovation part of it.
Right. I run the Innovation Fund, so I have the privilege of working with and for teachers. But it was very difficult. It was an interesting discussion that we had. So we see.
I agree. There were a lot of deliberations. We talked about what's already in existence and what could help to facilitate learning on the part of the students and what would help make the teacher's life a little bit easier. So those were the components that helped us to construct our decision.
Ted, same for you?
Absolutely. This was a tough call. These three sets of entrepreneurs are terrific. They represent
We're getting a lot of noise in our ears.
It's that feedback thing again. Somebody trying to cut in and figure out who actually won.
Right, I think so.
Right. Breaking in.
Hacking into the system.
That's it. But these three teams represent hundreds of teams who are at work building new schools, building new institutions to train teachers, teacher productivity tools, the kinds of innovations that we've seen today. I couldn't be prouder of them.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, the time is now.
Okay.
We want to.
I can do it now?
All right, Peter, you come on out as well. Peter Alexander. We need a little technology for our rundown. We got the teams coming out.
Here they are.
Okay. All right, before we make the announcement, let's get their reaction, Peter.
Let's do that very quickly. We're going to begin over on the far side with Liam. You and your partner Sam, you guys are Class Dojo. I've been with you for most of the last week now. I want to get a sense from you about what the best lesson you've gained from this experience has been.
I think the best lesson for us was when we're thinking through all this education technology stuff, we've got to get back to the students. It's all about the students at the end of the day, and we've got to focus on them.
We appreciate your being here. Thank you very much for everything. Got you to the top of the rock, got a good view. You've had a good experience as well. Jonathan, thank you for your help today. You were in charge of the great presentation. You were before the group. Zach, by the way, just 16 years old. They're in charge of Truant today, but this, as we've noted, is an excused absence. Can I just ask very simply, what do your classmates back in Thousand Oaks, California say when they find out you guys are behind the device to make it impossible for them to cut class?
Well, they're not thrilled, which is why we don't really advertise it, so let's keep this all on the down low. So let's keep it between you guys and me.
If you can, the best piece of advice you received from some of the mentors this week?
I mean, I think obviously kind of agreeing with Sam about focusing on the kids, but for us it was all about getting feedback from the parents and the teachers and also the students as well.
And then finally, our third team here, Kickboard, the ladies from New Orleans, Louisiana. Maisha, I've enjoyed being with both you and Jen this week. Jennifer, I want to ask you very simply, you've had a chance to meet not just with mentors, but with investors as well. What's next for your project, win or lose today? What do you guys do next to try to implement this going forward?
Sure. I mean, we're fortunate enough to already be working with schools across the country. So we take all the lessons we've heard from investors, from business executives, from the classroom, and just put that back into our product development and continue to make it better.
All right. We appreciate you guys being here. Before we make the final announcement, one more time, a round of applause for our 3 Innovation Challenge teams. Tom, we hand it to you.
All right. Well, this is going to be not like the Oscars at all. We're not going to pull back the curtain and have J-Lo come out and make the announcement. We're going to ask Mr. Gutierrez to do just that. So we're going to start. We're going to start with, yes, I can hear that. We're going to start with third, and then we'll work our way quickly to first. Who came in third in the competition?
If I could just say, from our standpoint, you are all winners. You have demonstrated, all of you, great vision, foresight, courage. It takes a lot of courage to create something, then come out and believe in it. And you can see that all of you believed in your ideas. We couldn't pick 3 first places, so please understand that. Third place, the Kickboard team.
From New Orleans. Yeah. What was the criteria for giving them third? Why did you decide that they were third?
Well, we like the idea. There's no question about it. One of the things that we had talked about, and I'll let some of my fellow judges add to it, is perhaps a bit more differentiation, something that makes it uniquely different than other products that are in the marketplace. But we think you're on to an idea.
I would say, in regards to your particular innovation, if you could exactly just put in something for the students that are in the red and the yellow. I saw it color coded based on how they were doing. If there was some quick link that you could give for immediate interventions to help with those underperforming students, that would be a great thing to add to help your product, I would believe.
It would be helpful to know more from, and I know that you had some teacher testimonials, but to be able to dig down one layer more about how this works in the day in the life of a teacher.
All right. Drum roll, please. Vroom.
Here we go.
Number one, the winner.
Well, should I say number two and then the...
Well, we'll know who number one is if you say number two.
I know.
So.
I thought that
I'll
was
leave
like Miss Universe or something.
Right. No,
okay.
Miss Congeniality. Who wins that?
Right. Okay, so here's the winner of the City Innovation and Education Prize. It's a great honor to announce that winner is Class Dojo.
Why?
Well, I'll give one reason, and I'll pass it on to my fellow judges. But we like the fact that you understood the consumer insight. You understood what you were tapping into and why your product was unique. You mentioned it builds character because you give them constant feedback. And probably the best thing we liked was it is positive. It reinforces positive behavior. And we believe that it can make a real impact.
Ted, what about the runner-up, truancy? Zach made a very popular presentation out of it, big issue.
Sure did.
Was that in contention?
Absolutely. All three were in contention, and it was close. And I think I speak for all of us in saying that we would likely invest in time and energy and money in all three of these ventures. They're all going to do great. I think that the differentiation for several of us between Class Dojo and Truant today was that Class Dojo is addressing a real pressing need now. And so it's got a small but critical start, but a really big back end in the whole area of developing scoring tools for teachers and parents around this issue of character, something that we know is so critical to student achievement.
Sal Khan actually said that he loved that application and thought there were lots of other uses that he could make for it as well. Peter, let's go to the winner in the winner's circle.
We are here with the winners right now in their little confessional booth. Guys, I saw your gut reaction. First of all, you've only been at this for roughly a month. You're on your second month now. When you heard your name called, how was that?
I'm speechless. I completely didn't expect it. So yeah, terrified of it as well.
Yeah. Liam, if you can explain, as these guys noted just a moment ago, the significance of positive energy in a classroom, of positive reinforcement. Why is that so significant as you make Class Dojo work?
So we were in a school in Harlem yesterday, and I think we were working with the kids there in a much more positive manner than I was worked with when I was a kid, right? So you see a huge difference in those kids when you work with them positively and you just reinforce the things they're doing well rather than things they're doing badly.
Congratulations to Sam Chaudhary and Liam Don. Right now I want to bring out for a special presentation Bob Anibale, who joins us here now from Citi. He is the Director of Microfinance and Community Development for Citi. Bob, if you'll join us on stage.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Well, I get the pleasure of presenting your virtual award. It's going to be digital money. It's not going to be real stuff, but you'll be able to fill it. And so first, just congratulations to the first team and all the others. A quick question. How are you planning to use the $75,000, and what's the rollout plan for the next 6 months?
So for us, it's really important that we work with as many teachers as possible. So the rollout plan is to get the word out to as many teachers as we can, and we'll need to grow the team to do that.
How big is the team now?
We're looking at it.
2 people. All right, so the next 6 months is to roll out the team.
I think so.
Okay. Tell us, in these last few days, you've had to pitch to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you presented both from schools to bankers. What did you find the most challenging in there? What was the most challenging pitch you had to make?
What would you say, Liam?
I think the most challenging pitch we had to make was probably when we first approached the teachers, because these are the guys that we really want to impress. And luckily, I think they got what we were doing. So that was the exciting bit for me.
Well, on behalf of all of us at Citigroup, congratulations to everybody here and to the winners too. Thanks very much.
Bob, thank you very much. Again, a round of applause for Class Dojo, Truant Today, and Kickboard. Tom, that's it. Our inaugural Education Nation meets the apprentice. We hope to do this again a year from now.
Well, I want to congratulate all of you. It was really so innovative and so energetic, and I think what you did was give hope and heart to everyone watching about the next generation. What I love about your generation is that you're bold and you're confident, and you are teaching the rest of us to drive. So congratulations to all of you. And we want to remind you to stay right where you are, because our program is going to continue right now, thanks to the judges as well. Thank you very much.